Hello and welcome to Tonalist Painting with M. Francis McCarthy. This is your painter in residence, M. Francis McCarthy. And the painting we're doing today is a study, a 5x7 study that I did back in March of 2014, which is 3 years ago now. And that was actually the first year that I started videotaping my painting process. I wish I'd started sooner now, actually, but it's kind of cool to have a, sort of a record of the painting process. And the thing that's, of course, fascinating about the video of the paintings being done is that it's a record of every single stroke, and whereas the painting itself exists as the result of every single stroke. It's the end product. It's a result of all of the things that went into creating it, and it's basically non-linear because it is an object that was created. Whereas videos are always going to be linear. You have a beginning, a middle, and an end. And I'm just fascinated by it, and this is one of the reasons why I compulsively videotape my painting session every day now. I mean, it's not something that painters in the past could do, and I think it's one of the great advantages that we have with technology is that it would have been awesome to see a recording of somebody like Georgia Ness doing a painting. That would have been stupendous, but we don't have it. But we'll have this, and this is out there, and who knows if the world keeps going. Maybe this will survive in the internet for a long time. We'll find out, right? Either way, it's cool for now, and it's illuminating for me when I can see the differences. I can tell you one difference is that I was using a different video camera back then, so you'll notice there's a little less crispness and resolution on. Well, the resolution will be the same. The crispness will not be quite as good as the modern paintings I've been doing, but still pretty good. Good enough for you to get an idea of what's happening. And the other big difference is, like you can see, we just went from the drawing stage into the color stage here. Back in 2014, my 5x7s were less finished, generally speaking. I as I've written in the blog in the past, I was inspired by this guy who was a portrait artist, and would do these very small, very I want to say loose color sketches prior to painting a subject, and they had absolutely no detail. But I will put quite a lot into the 5x7s now, and I really got into finishing them. I do a second phase on all of my, a second pass on all of my 5x7s now. Back in 2014, it was actually a bit less finished, and so you will see just one color pass here. And the good news is that it's actually slowed down a little bit. This video is only about 4.5, maybe 5 times faster than I actually painted it. I confess the math starts getting a little mind-boggling for me because I archive these videos at double speed, and then I pulled those out of the archive to do these video presentations like we're doing right now. So now this is Sunday, February 19th, and we just did our day 14 post for the 25 days of Tonalism project. I wasn't not able to do that yesterday on Saturday, but we're on track. That's up, that's published, and so I'm rolling into this. And it is a bit, I really regret not making the time yesterday. It's always nice to kind of luxuriate when you're not doing something you should be doing, but the downside is you have to work harder to make up, and so a good portion of my day today is spent getting these ready for you. But hey, that's okay. I'm doing it for you, man. Anyway, So this morning when I was doing that other video, I was talking about how things are going in the studio, and they're going pretty well. I have to say, I'm pretty happy with my overall progress. I've been doing less bad paintings. In fact, digging around in this folder from March 2014, I had a whole different approach. I was like doing 10 studies, trying to do 10 a month, 10 studies and 10 larger paintings. But the larger paintings, the largest I was going was 8 by 10. I had this idea in my head that because I was living in an economically depressed area, that I would just do 8 by 10s, and you know that I saw the problem with that is that a lot of people just aren't into the smaller paintings. I love smaller paintings. I love smaller paintings as much as I love bigger paintings. I'm not somebody who's trying to maximize the amount of wall space that I cover with my painting purchase, but that does seem to be something the market's into, and you know, well, the market wants what the market wants. So I do, and I have been actually since I think I gave up this all 8 by 10s thing in 2015, probably halfway through, and I'm not even doing 8 by 10s or 8 by 8s now. The smallest painting I do now is a 10 by 14, and that's mostly because I have some inventory of the 10 by 14 boards. There was a point in time where I said, well, okay, I want to get out of this 8 by 10 thing. I'm going to do 10 by 14s because and, you know, I want to do some bigger paintings, and so I went to the ply guy, and I had way too many made. I think I probably had 20 or 30 boards prepared, and so that has a tendency of locking you into a size, as these boards aren't like outrageously expensive, but they're not cheap either. They're expensive enough that you would think twice before deciding that you weren't going to actually use it. So, talking about the scene here, Morning Glade, I know that I painted this scene again in, like, I want to say 2015 or 16, early 16, maybe. It's hard to say, but I did there a 10 by 14, and I believe the 5 by 7 study that we're looking at right now was sold quite a while back, as well as, or possibly this wasn't sold. It might have been the 8 by 10 that we're going to be talking about next week. So the 8 by 10 is a nice little painting and had a lot of appeal. Had that up at Helena Bay Gallery out here in New Zealand, and some lady got that, and it was awesome. You know, it's always nice. You know, the best part about selling paintings is that the reason that I do them is for people to live with them and enjoy them, and that brings me a lot of pleasure. I think that's saying, you know, it's not like one of these big overt big deals or anything, but sometimes little subtle things add up. You know, little, like having a nice painting in your environment will enhance the quality of your life, and in times of stress you can look at your painting and you have a sort of relaxing thing to focus on, instead of hopefully you're pulling your eyeballs off the phone or the TV set or the computer screen or the video game or whatever the heck, and, you know, enjoying some of the bounteous treasures that we have here in this reality, the actual reality, not the digital reality. Unfortunately, I see a lot of people not really doing that as much as they could or should. But who knows? You know, all this digital stuff in front of us all the time is very new, and people are reacting to it and using it all the time. But it may be like any other thing, where, you know, after the newness wears off, people start getting back to things that are more enduring, like landscape paintings, you know, on actual walls in actual houses, you know. But hey, what do I know? You know. But I guess I got to say that I am comfortable in the digital realm. You and I are interacting in the digital realm. You're seeing my movies on YouTube, which is a wonderful thing, and on my blog. You're seeing my pictures through the grace of a blogger there, and they're good quality photos. You get a pretty good idea what my paintings look like. That said, I mean, one day I'll have to write a blog post about how no reproduction ever matches an original. You know, this is I don't know how much I could actually write on it. Maybe I could do 500 words on that, but we'd have to see. Anyway, just thought you guys would like a blast from the past here from 2014 about March, like I said. So we're almost on March. This is pretty much 3 years ago, and hope you enjoyed it. And like I said, we're getting close to the end here, so you know, if you're watching this on YouTube, subscribe. You know, that's great. I love it. I love to know people are watching them, and that's one way I can tell. Also, you can go to my website, landscapepainter.co.nz, and follow my work there. That's the best place to get to my blog, actually. So we'll see you next week for the bigger version of this. Meanwhile, take good care and stay out of trouble.